So, looking at the first one, it says to find the volume. Find the volume. What's my formula for volume? Formula for volume. Devon? Volume. So we can't start with A if it's volume. Camilla? B equals close. Kelsey? B equals L, W, and H. We need the length, the width, and the height. All right? So for number one, the first thing I like to do is just, which one of those is going to be the height? That's probably the easiest one to pick. Which one is the height? Which one's telling me how tall it is? Tiva? The 10. So I'm going to go ahead and label that as the H. Are y'all okay with that? Now once I pick the height, does it matter what the other ones are? No. So I'm going to say V equals, I'm just going to let my length be 15. Are y'all okay with that? Okay. So if my length is 15, what does my width have to be? 11. And then what did we say our height was already? 10. So I did 15 times 11 times 10. Are we okay with that? All right. So now what do I need to do with those numbers? Truett? Multiply them. And what do we get when we multiply those? Jet? Say that again, 1650. And what needs to go next to that? Meters cubed. Remember, if you have a V, you need a 3. If you have a V, you need a 3. Yes. All right. So guys, number 1, that's how you're going to do number 2. That's how you're going to do number 3. That's how you're going to do number 4. That's how you're going to do number 5 because it still says volume. That's how you're going to do number 6 because it still says volume. So I want us to look now at number 7. We're going to do number 7 together, and then you will do number 8 on your own. Number 7 together. All right, so this time, you notice it tells me my volume, doesn't it? It tells me my volume. What am I missing? The length. So guys, since it tells me my volume, I know I'm going to have to use that formula. So I'm going to do V equals L, W, and H. All right, Gabby, we've worked out number 1. We've moved down now to number 7, okay? V equals LWH. If it tells me V, what am I going to do that's different here? Since I already know what V is, what do I have to do, Truett? I'm going to write it under the V, so that gives me 1,080 underneath the V. What else am I going to do? What's kind of one of the key things you want to do that reminds you how to work it, Kelsey?
Draw a line.
Yeah, draw a line. If it gives you your answer, that means we've got to do the opposite, so we've got to draw a line, okay? All right, what's going to go underneath my L? What am I going to use for L? Kaylin? An L. Do y'all see the L there? So what do I have to use for that? The L. I can't change it. So where that line is, that's where my equal sign is. I'm going to keep it, keep my L. What are we going to use as our W? Carlos? The 12. I'm going to use the 12 as my W because what's 5 going to be? 5 is going to be the height. That's how tall it is. So underneath W, I'm going to write 12, which means underneath H, I'm going to write 5. Okay, are y'all okay with that so far? Okay, who thinks they can tell me my next step? So now we got to remember our steps. What am I going to do next? Any ideas? Zach? I love that idea. 12 and 5, I'm going to multiply them. Do y'all see that they're right next to each other? 12 and 5, they're right beside each other. So let's put those together for real by multiplying. What do I get when I multiply them, Anahi? 60. So I have 60 there. Is my L still there? Yeah, I haven't done anything to it. My equal sign is still there, and my 1,080 is still there. Okay. All right, excellent choice there, Zach. I love it. So now what? So now I've got L. It's just got a number by it. What am I going to do now? Maribel? Excellent. We have to do the opposite of multiplying, which is to divide. So I'm going to divide. What number am I dividing by? Carlos? We're going to divide 1,080, but what number am I going to divide by? What number am I going to put on the bottom? What number is next to my letter? 60. So you agree, I want to get L by itself, right? So I've got to get rid of 60, so I've got to put 60 on the bottom. Does that make sense? Because what's going to happen to my 260s now? Yeah, they're going to leave. They're going to become, not necessarily 0, but they're going to go away, right? So what's left there now? L by itself. That was our goal. All right. Now you'll notice here, remember that fraction bar is division. What do I get when I divide that, Camilla? 18. And what am I going to put next to it? Let's see if we can get this part right. Olivia. Yards. Do I need a 3? No. Do I have a V? No, that's an L, guys. That's not a V. If it's an L, do I need a 3? No, you only use the 3 if you have a V. Okay, so that's an L. We don't need the 3. All right, guys, that's how you're going to set up number 8. The only difference is instead of looking for L, what are you looking for? H. Okay, so let's flip it over. All right. So now we've got to name it and we've got to find the surface area. We got to name it and we got to find the surface area. So I think I'm going to do the first 2 with you, and then that'll leave you 4. Okay, but we're going to do the first 2 together. All right, Tony, I saw your hand. Are you ready to name the first one for me? What do you think it's called? Square pyramid. I love it. Or you could call it a rectangular pyramid if you want to. Square pyramid. How did you know it was going to be a pyramid? Pyramid. Having to sound that out this morning. How do we know that's a pyramid, Kaylin? It has a bunch of triangles, and those triangles are going to come together at the very top to make a point. So that makes a pyramid. All right, now we've got to do our surface area. So this is the harder part, so we've got to do the math. All right. So do y'all remember what these lines mean? See how that rectangle has lines going around it? What do those lines mean? All the sides are going to be 12. So this is, in fact, a square here. All right. So I'm going to number that shape 1. Are y'all okay with that being shape 1? Are y'all okay with that being shape 1? Let's look at that one first. That one's going to be the easiest. Let's see that one first. All right. So I'm going to come over here to the side, and I'm going to draw the number 1 so I know where that work is. All right. Now this is where, like me, Miss Donahue, and our Miss Willis, our work looks a little different. I like to label them with numbers. They just like to write their formula and do their answer. It's up to you. All right. So for shape 1, what formula do I need for that square? What formula do I need, Anahi? A equals BH is perfect. If you want to use LW, you can. That's fine. So for that square, A equals BH, what is my base going to be here? Camilla? 12. What is my height, Truett? 12, because it's a square, so they're going to be the same, right? Are we all okay with that? So my area for that square is 144 centimeters squared, because it's area, so we're going to do squared. All right? What other shapes do I need to look at? Kelsey? The triangles. Now on this, since that's a square at the bottom, are all of my triangles going to match? Yeah. Are all the bottoms of the triangles the same? Do they all have to go to the same height? Yeah, they got to meet at the top. So yeah, these are all going to be the same. So I only have 2 shapes. Are y'all okay with that? I only have the 2 shapes. Are we okay? All right. So now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do shape 2. What formula do I need for a triangle? Devon. A equals BH divided by 2. Now, Hunter, I know you had your hand up for something different, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you this. If I'm looking, remember, I can look at any triangle on there because they're all the same, right? Which triangle on here will show me my base? All right. So this one, it shows me my 8, but is that the base? No. Which one is showing me my base? Noah? Which is which triangle? One of the sides or the top or the bottom? Which? Carlos?
It's the 12 because when it folds,
That's the base of it. Which is on, thank you, Chris, that's what I was looking for. Which that 12, do y'all see how that's on my top triangle? Now that 12, is it really on all of the triangles? Yeah. Remember the 12 goes here, it goes here, and it goes here. All right, but the one that shows me it is the top triangle. Is it okay that I'm getting stuff off of different triangles? Yeah, because they're all the same. Y'all okay with that, right? All right, so my base is 12. What is the height? So my height, this one doesn't tell me a height. What is my height going to be, Alana? The 8. So my height, I'm going to have to get off this right triangle because it's going from the bottom where it touches the square to the very tip top of the triangle. Y'all good with that? So that's going to be 8. And then we have to divide by 2. So area equals, don't forget to divide by 2. 12 times 8, divide by 2. What does that give me, Jet? 48. Excellent job. 48 centimeters squared. Now, guys, I'm not done yet. I've done the hard part, but now what do I need to do? Tony? Add. So am I just going to add 144 and 48? No. What do I need to add up? What numbers do I actually have to add, Tony?
8 and 12.
Nope. 8 and 12, we're done with those. We're good on that part. Camilla?
144 and 48.
And then that's done. That's my answer. No, what am I still missing, Jet?
You have to add up all the 48.
All the 48s. Guys, how many? So that was shape 2, right? How many times did I write 2? 4 times. How many triangles were there? 4, which means I need 48 4 times. Now, so I'm adding 144 and 48, but not just 148, but 4 of them. Are y'all okay with why I'm adding all of those? Okay, so I'm going to put plus so I can add them. Using my calculator, what do I get when I add those up, Truett?
336.
336, you agree? 336 what?
Centimeters squared.
Centimeters squared. Excellent job. Okay? All right. Number 10, and you'll notice number 10 and number 12 are a lot alike, but I want us to look at number 10 real quick, okay? Guys, number 10, we got to be careful. A lot of these rectangles look the same, don't they? So let's go ahead, let's name the figure. Let's get that out of the way. Name the figure. What type of three-dimensional shape is this going to fold up to make? What is this one going to fold up to make? Akina? A rectangular. And then this time it's going to be a prism because it doesn't have a bunch of triangles that can fold up and make a point. So it's going to have to kind of be a long rectangle. So it's a prism. All right. Now we need to be careful. Let's go ahead and pick out the rectangles that match. Can you show me 2 that obviously match? Which 2 are like the easiest to match up? Nahi? All right. Which rectangles? So those are just the numbers on the side. Which rectangles are really easy to match up? The 2 on the side, right? Those 2 on the side. So I'm going to go ahead and number these. 1 and 1. Are y'all okay with that? So those 2 match. We agree? All right, here you go. We're on the back. We've worked that some together on the front. I'll let you copy those in a minute. Okay? We're doing number 10. All right. So guys, I'm going to show you, and if you're watching the video, I want you to picture a tissue box. All right. I don't think that I can. Nope, that's not going to work. All right, so I have this tissue box here. All right, so basically what's happened is that bottom part right here, that's the bottom of my tissue. Are y'all okay? So there's the bottom. That's that. So these 2 sides have folded down. Y'all see that, where they folded down? The back have folded down. So then this side folded down. What happened to the top? It folded down as well, right? Okay, so I want us to kind of think about that 4 and 5 because I need to make sure they go in the right place. All right? This 4, where's it going to match with? The next line going right there. Perfect, Maya. So it's going to match right there on the... Are y'all good with that? And then do y'all agree it's going to match down here too? And then it's going to match down here too?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just stop with that. All right, now that 5 was given to me. What happens to my 5? Can someone remind me when I have a 5 like that on an edge? What am I going to do with that, Kelsey?
Fold it and matches the top.
And when I fold it up, y'all agree those 2 are going to fold together. See how I did those arrows to show they're folding together? So this side is going to be 5 inches, and this one also has to match to be 5 inches. Do y'all agree with that? So guys, here's my question. Looking at these 2 right now, are those the same rectangle? They have 2 different numbers, right? So these have to be different rectangles. So I'm going to put a 2 here, and I'm going to put a 3 here, because I have 2 different ones. You're all okay with that? Now here's the good news. The bottom 2 have to match one of them, all right? So I want you to think about how we were kind of talking about my tissue box, how it was folding up, and what was happening. So my sides folded out, the back folded down, all right? This rectangle right here, do you think it would match with shape 2 or shape 3? Shape 2 or shape 3? What do you think, Trit? Shape 2, so these 2 right next to each other, you think they match? So I want us to think about, see how they have a 5 inches on the top right here? Don't I also have a 5 inches right there? Do y'all see that? And then what's going to happen to these? They're going to fold together. Do you agree? So this is going to have to be 5 inches. So does that match with 2 that says 4? No, that matches with my 3. Okay? So what do you think the bottom one's going to match with? 2. That's the one that's missing a match. All right? So the cool thing about rectangular prisms is everything's going to match up with it. All right? I think that sometimes those are the hardest shape because they fold together so much. Whereas like on the triangles, they're pretty easy to tell what the height is, what the base is. All right? Are y'all okay with how I've numbered those? Okay. So let's go, yeah, I have plenty of room. Shape 1. What formula am I going to use for shape 1? Javon? A equals BH. Okay? So A equals, I want you to find a shape 1, that means one with a circle that has a base and a height. Who can tell me what the base and height are going to be of my shape 1? Chris? And? What 2 numbers? My base and my height?
4, 5.
So here's shape 1. I can see the only numbers I have on here are 4s and 5. So my base and my height has to be 4 and 5. If you did 5 times 4, is that okay? Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm going to be picky on these. All right, so what do I get for that area, Maya? 20. And put my inches squared. All right, shape 2. Again, it's a rectangle. Y'all okay? Can I go ahead and write A equals BH? Okay, A equals. So I want you to find a shape 2 and tell me what 2 numbers go with it. Kelsey? 4 and 12. So I like how Kelsey was able to pick those out. So I have 4 and 12. So I can see where she got 4 because that's on shape 2, right? And this 12, do y'all see my 12 going across? Aren't all of these rectangles going to be the same length going across there? Yeah, so while that's 12, this is also 12. If you want to write it in, you can. So now I have 4 and 12. Y'all good with that? All right, so what do I get for that area? Sean? 48. Perfect. Inches squared. All right, and then I still need to do shape 3, so I'm going to come up here and do shape 3. Area equals base times height. What is my base and height for shape 3 going to be? Camilla? 5 and 12. 5 and 12. And in fact, if you look right here where I wrote in those 5s that folded together, I can see my 5 and my 12 together on shape 3. Are y'all okay with that? So what does that give me, Hunter? 60 inches squared. Okay, so now let's see if someone can tell me what am I going to add together. What am I going to add together? Alana? Okay, so just give me a list of all the numbers that I need to do. 20 twice, perfect. And? 48 twice from the 2, good. 48 twice and? 60 twice. So do you see how, because there were 2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 3s, we did 20 twice, 48 twice, and 60 twice? So what do I get when I add all those up, Tony? 202. Y'all agree?
No.
Okay. What did you get, Javon? 256. I think we might have left out some 48. So try typing that in one more time for me. 256. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So 256. We got to be careful when we're typing them in. It's really easy to miss a number or to type it in wrong. Okay. Okay, inches squared. Okay. So guys, you're going to work number 12 exactly like that. We got some decimals in there. Number 12, I do want to mention this real quick. That 6 and that 2, do you see how it says 6.2 here? What does it have to say on top of that then? 6.2. It just, blame it on the pen. I don't know. It's not readable. All right, so you have the front. We work those out together. You have the back kind of starting you out. I'll send out the answers tonight for you to be able to check and make sure you're getting that final amount correct, all right?